Good afternoon, and today we are going to ask the questions. Kaz is going to ask me some questions, probably, about what Buddhism is.
Correct.
So, Kaz, why don't you kick off with the fundamental question for me?
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is Kaz, and I'm Christian, and then here's Rick. But once again, he's practicing, Buddhism. So because I'm not familiar about Buddhism, so this is the fantastic opportunity to ask. And by the way, those of you have any questions regarding about Christianity or Buddhism, do not hesitate to write some questions down below. Okay, so let's start it. So, okay, Rick, so I have some questions, right? So, what is Buddhism?
Okay, now Buddhism is a very, for some people, quite confusing term. It's a bit like Christianity. There's so many sects. But as far as Asia is concerned, we have Buddhism can be labeled into two categories. The first category is Hinayana. And Hinayana covers certain types of Buddhism, such as Theravada, which is very present in Thailand. So if you've been to Thailand, you might know that some people are very deep in their faith. But basically what they do is in Hinayana, they go to a temple and they pray to the Lord Buddha. And you might have seen them with some joss sticks, but they are definitely praying to something that is, or the Lord Buddha, which is outside of themselves. Whereas in Japan, we also have Mahayana Buddhism. And once again, there are many sects of Mahayana Buddhism. But the Buddhism that I am doing, which I believe to be the true Buddhism, is based on the Lotus Sutra. The title of the Lotus Sutra is Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And what people believe, which is slightly different, in fact very different to other Buddhisms, is that the Buddha nature, the Buddha can be inside. Whereas you're not praying to something that is outside of yourself, like a Buddha or God-like thing. You are actually praying to ignite the connection, if you like, of the Buddha nature within yourself, and also to connect, of course, with the Buddhas of the past. Was something we called Guonganjo, some technical names, like millions and millions of years ago, where we're connecting with the Buddhas of the past. And if you like, the task, we all would like to become purer people, but in order to do that, we have to keep reigniting the Buddha nature within ourselves. And if we can do that, even only for a few seconds or maybe a minute, this will be a good thing. And if I may say one more thing, linked to this Buddha nature, some people say, what, you think you're a Buddha? That's, oh my God, OMG, that's ridiculous. How can you possibly be a Buddha? Well, it's not that you're like, you just chant one time and then you're the Buddha for the next 10 hours. No, there are the 10 worlds, or what we would like to say in Buddhism, a term called Ichinen Sanzen, which translated means 3,000 realms in one realm or moment of existence. So you have 3,000 possible realms could exist in 1 second, if you like. Let's call it a second. So you might get yourself through chanting to be in the world of Buddhahood, which is the highest of the 10 worlds, but at the same time be in the realm of hell. For instance, if I said, I had an argument with Kaz, and I said, I don't, like what you said to me yesterday, and I'm chanting like a maniac to say, I don't like what you did to me yesterday. This chanting's going to make you feel bad. Well, then I would be in 2 realms at one time. I would be in the realm of hell and possibly a type of Buddhahood at the same time. So there's an overlap of the realms, because that's like our thoughts. Each thought that we have is almost like, if you imagine, second by second. Whereas here, we're trying to, anyway, develop this Buddha nature.
So let me clear this clearly, right?
Yeah.
So because make sure I want to understand, I'm sure the viewers want to understand at the same time. So because you were talking earlier that, so number one, you cannot, when you do the prayer, so to speak, okay, I'm not for sure are you using the proper vocabularies, well, not by, please.
It is, of course, it is a prayer as well. Yes.
Now, when you do pray, I mean, Christianity at the same time, you cannot pray for becoming negative. It's called sacrilege. That's applied to I'm sure Buddhism. So all I'm saying, so while you
you shouldn't. I like to rephrase that. I mean,
right?
There have been people in the past, and some people might have started Buddhism in a very bad life condition. Even one, young British lady singer who started, and she was chanting before she died to stop her heroin addict. You might be forgiven for chanting, "I need my next fix." I need to inject myself with the terrible heroin drug. But at the same time, I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to get out of this bad habit and lead a different type of life. So it would be sacrilege in the Christian thing, but it's slightly different.
All right. But basically,
you're right.
Same,
You don't want to spend your time chanting for cocaine. Probably not the best thing to focus on.
Yes, because I understand this planet Earth.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we see some good and bad sides, and some people. I used to hear whether Christian or Buddhist or even Shinto, whatever. People pray for negative stuff. I used to tell them, "Are you kidding me? Why do you pray for other people get negative result? I mean, that's not your position to do so."
Yes, and obviously
the boomerang come back
to you. If you do pray for the negative result, I remember negative result is one thing, or jealousy. I remember when I started chanting, I had a friend, and I don't think he would mind me. His name is Mike. He is from Alaska, and he wanted to sell his cabin in Alaska, and he sold his cabin in Alaska for $60,000, which was quite a good rate at that time. Whoa. But I was extremely jealous, so I don't want to really go into it, but I chanted, why don't I receive 60? Why don't I receive some money into my life? But what I neglected to do was pray for him. So you have to pray for other people. I should have prayed for him, but I was concentrating all the prayer on little old me, and I became quite extremely jealous. And so jealousy is something that also can get in the way with progress, if you like, in your practice.
Yes, I understand. Because being a Christian, this reminds me, I mean, I'm put on mid-age right now, but maybe 2 or 3 decades ago. Okay? Yeah. So, should I say 20 or 30 years ago? But it doesn't matter. So, I mean, I used to experience, some negativities within Christian community, and I was
what kind of negativities are we talking about?
So, I'm talking about Christians in name only people. So they label themselves, "Oh, I'm a Christian, I'm Catholic, I'm a Protestant, I'm a Mormon," stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't see these people being live based on Christ's teaching, which gonna be in another episode at some point. But so, and then so people, start. Some people start praying for kind of revenge. Hey, wait a minute, that's not your position. Do that. So if you see some unpleasantness, you have to let God handle that situation. That's not your position to do that.
So that's the slight difference, I think, between the Buddhism and the Christianity. As Kaz said, let God handle that situation. Whereas in the Buddhism, the same situation might happen, but you have to, what we're supposed to do, I'm not saying that every time you do this, you pray that, let's say there's this person that you don't particularly like in the office. But you pray that you can find a way that you will be able to like him more or change the situation for the good. So there's a learning process that you will go through this slight, or maybe very strong, human revolution in that your original hate for that person becomes some kind of love, or at least understanding for the person that you didn't understand before you underwent the chanting. So you try to build the Buddha nature in yourself, rather than in the Christianity philosophy asking for the God or leaving the situation up to God. It's slightly different, but both are aiming for a good result, I think.
Yeah. See, all I'm trying to say is, do not think negative, because the more you think negative in any way, shape, or form, it's coming right back at you. And so, because instead, you may pray, which I do normally do. If I see something unpleasant or people that I don't get along, which is natural. I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we are allowed to smear these people. Correct?
That is correct, and
which is very hard, because the world is not fair, and we both understand that.
Right. And so, anyway, no matter what happens, as we're going back to this philosophy of the 10 worlds, at different times in your life, the lower 6 worlds, hell, hunger, or animality, in the world of hunger, you're just greedy for money only, or animality, you might have over sexual So these are realms that everybody goes through in their life. You might wake up in the morning and you think, oh no, due to coronavirus, I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage this month. I hate that bank manager anyway, and I think I'm going to go down to the bank and shout and scream at him or her. But hopefully through the chanting style, especially the Lotus Sutra, you may grab that negativity, if you like, do that chanting, which consists of the main chant, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, and the Lotus Sutra, which is a bit longer, usually takes at least 3-4 minutes for the basic 2 parts. You do that, and then you try to change your frame of mind from negativity to a positive state, whereby you go down to talk to the bank manager and talk to them in a good light.
Because I understand that. Because it reminds me that when things that I cannot control, like you see, some people get unemployed, or so back in September 2001, excuse me, I apologize once again, September 2001 in New York City, right? So things came up so bad, and I felt, should I say hopeless? Because I cannot do anything about it.
But you were very near, actually, to the trade center, weren't you, if I remember correctly?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So what I did was I started praying, right? So...
and how far, exactly, this is quite interesting. Now, how far away were you from the trade center? In miles or
back
yards?
in the days, I lived roughly 45 minutes by car away.
45 minutes away.
But I was supposed to be right across from the street World Trade Center, staying hotel, but somehow
you weren't there. You weren't in that. You weren't.
No,
somehow
I got
you weren't
sick,
at that.
so I have to cancel the plan.
So
thank goodness
got
if
sick.
I didn't cancel, I'd be this. I probably ended up in the coffin. I'm not joking. So I thought, I said, thanks be to God, praise the Lord. So because I didn't think negatively, and that helped me.
And also, we could also say, from the Buddhist point of view, that was your collective good karma came into light. So you've done a lot of good things, I think. Yeah. And so, I hope so. Some bad things, good things, but a lot of the good part of your karma, which could have come from lifetimes before or could have been done in this lifetime, came to your rescue at the right time. So you, for some reason, maybe to make this video, you are here and you are spared, and you didn't go to the building near the trade center or suddenly be called to the
trade hotel across from World Trade Center.
So maybe your cough came at the right time, or whatever ailment that you got.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So because all I'm saying is, so for the Christian part,
Yeah.
you don't give up praying. I know prayer is deadly. Excuse me, very, very powerful. Some people say because it's invisible, it's not powerful at all. So I'm gonna give up. I've seen people like that, but for past 20 or 30 years, I did suffer emotionally, to be honest. But I never give up praying. Because some people get ill, and then doctors say this person may not live. But keep a prayer, I keep praying, centering, praying, for, Lord's Prayer for maybe like 3 or 5 straight hours. And then suddenly the doctor told me,
And I think, sincerity, your sincerity there must have
the
helped.
blood and urine condition is super normal, so which is miracle.
Yeah.
So
So
I can understand. Very powerful. So
of course,
chanting, I can empathize that chanting is very helpful.
And I would like
Don't
to
take
say
it
though,
seriously.
I'd like to say though,
don't abuse it.
of course, there's people who chant every day, every morning and night, as I do. But I would like to say something. We must make this point quite clear as well. That sometimes when you wake up in the morning and you do the chanting, you don't do it in the right state of mind, and it is like a ritual. Yeah. And sometimes you might go a week doing it just like a ritual without thinking too much or not really concentrating enough. However, sometimes you have really good prayer. Some days when you pray really, really, really well, and very good results come. So I think for most people, there's a mixture of the ritual of doing it in the morning and the night, and there's those times when you really can do it like in a meditative style and get to where you want to be and get to some kind of realization. And we would call it, and on that day perhaps, the earthly desires become the enlightenment, and you succeed, or example, get a new piece of business, or you sign that contract, or you mend the feud that you had with your sister, or something really good happens. So it's not like you can just be spot on every single morning when you pray. It's not like that. I think there's the ritual days, but there's also the very, very spiritual days. And continuance is obviously a good thing. Not everybody who practices Buddhism is going to be the next Tina Turner. I'm not, because I'm a guy, so probably, or the next Baguio. I don't think I'm too old to be a famous footballer, so
Well,
but I hope, I don't, I'm nearly 60. I hope that there might be another young guy who's the next Baguio in Italy watching this video who starts chanting, and then, then this video is really worth it.
Yes, because
maybe
I believe in invisible world. Yeah. Right. Yeah. For me, prayer.
Of course, the invisible world is definitely. There's much more there than we realize.
It's very powerful, right? So I used to teach people that do not abuse it. When you do that, do it seriously. Do not abuse it, because coming right back at you. Boomerang, right? So
like a boomerang. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
That's right. That's right.
So now,
okay then.
All right, because we hope all of you enjoy our program today. Normally we put this under the premium video sections, but because we invite you, all of you,
yes,
right, to be with our premium channel, because this because it worth more than what you pay for. Yes,
that's right. Yes. So if I might leave you, because this second episode is about more on the Buddhism side, and the other episode is on the Christianity side. I'd like to leave you with the title of one of the most famous Goshos, and one of my favorite ones. The Gosho, by the way, are the letters written by Nichiren Daishonin, who is the Buddha of the latter day of the law, and. The winter always changes to spring. The winter always changes to spring. So even if you are in an extremely terrible situation, like, you know, A, one of the relatives died from the coronavirus, or maybe B, you're part of the Hertz rental car company, and you have found yourself without a job, or you feel like you are bankrupt. There is a way out, and I think the way out could be the Lotus Sutra and Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and it's worth giving it a try.
Yes.
I really think so.
All right.
So,
And thank you very much for sharing with us about the Buddhism, Buddhist teaching.
no, thank you very much.
Yes.
And we hope that we really would like in our videos to explore all of all the beliefs in the world, all the religious beliefs, to find out what it is that makes people tick, and why do they think the way they do, and why do people meditate in a certain way. We want to dig deep into these questions, and we won't necessarily get all the answers, but we wish to dig deep.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
And have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Stay strong and positive.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers.